What is going on, everybody? My name is Mike Massey, also known as Mindful Mike. I'm excited just to deliver my passion to you today in about 10 short minutes of how you can use mindfulness to respond to your stress, not only the stress that you incur with the work that you do, because we know that work is busy and chaotic, especially in mixing COVID, but also how can you use mindfulness at home to be more present with the people that you want to be present with, instead on your mind on what might happen, may happen, could happen, or should have happened. So today I want to talk about 3 ways how to incorporate mindfulness informally. And informally, all that means is how you can use mindfulness in your day-to-day life without having to close your eyes and meditate. And then when I go over 2 ways formally that you can introduce mindfulness into your life that will not add an hour onto your day. We're looking at 2 short, very simple practices that both take anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes. So that is my sale to you today, is hopefully that out of the 3 informal and 2 formal practices we explore, that 1 of each will connect with you and you can look at introducing that into your daily life. Why? So you can be more present. Why? So you can be here in the present moment and not spend as much time in what might happen, may happen, could happen, would have happened, should have happened, whatever story you've created, because we all do that. You know, for example, if you would have asked me, I believe the date was March 12th, 2020, Mike, did you make a good decision in leaving counseling when I had a really nice job that I liked? And did I leave it and to pursue teaching people how to breathe for a living and how to teach people how to be more present in their mind and body? I would have said absolutely, I made a great choice. I was in Toronto. I was working with 400 plus sales humans, helping them develop the ability to work with mindfulness at work, not closing their eyes, not meditating, but learning how to respond to stress in a healthier way while working in sales. And on that drive home, my phone started to blow up with schools being canceled and all these talks maybe being canceled. Fast forward 10 days, so near the end of March, I had to cancel 70 workshops. 70 different workshops I had to cancel, which obviously for me brought on a little panic or anxiety and worry and frustration and all those things you can imagine that I might be experiencing, because this was my job and this is how I pay for all the things that I have. So I was experiencing a lot of worry, right? I was experiencing a lot of frustration and a lot of shoulda, coulda, woulda. Maybe I shouldn't have left this job 9, 10 years ago. Maybe I should have stayed in that field and then I wouldn't be worried about what I'm experiencing now. All of these things were coming through my mind. The difference is I was able to notice those as a thought. So the thought and not a fact. The fact was I still had money to pay my mortgage and I was still probably going to talk to clients one-on-one and maybe still do stuff online. The fact was, yes, I did cancel 70 workshops, but it was the thought that I was going to be homeless 6 months from now or 8 months from now. And it was the thought about the future that was getting me anxious and worried. The fact of the matter was I had some fear in the present moment. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to see what stories are in here. So maybe it's about the upcoming holidays, maybe it's about something at work, maybe it's something that's happened years ago, or maybe it's something that you're worried about happening years from now. But what I want you to ask yourself, with those common worries that come up in here, ask yourself, is it a thought? And the thought means it might, may, or could happen, or it has happened in the past, or is it a fact? And the fact means it's actually happening now. See, I can't help you with what might, may, or could happen. But the practice of mindfulness can definitely help you with the fact of what's happening now. So if you're anxious now, fact, we can work with the anxiety. I can't help you 6 months from now with something that might happen because it hasn't happened yet. It's not actually happening in that moment. So that's what I would first love to start with, to be honest with you. I would love to start with this simple practice of what I refer to as thought versus fact. So we start by noticing the thought. So is it a future thought, meaning it might, may, or could happen, or is it a past thought, which it has happened? So first learn how to discern between the two. Is it a future thought or is it a past thought? But identify, is it a thought? And then once you identify what type of thought it is, future or past, then we know what to do. If it's a fact, meaning it's happening now, then we know what to do. So if you're anxious in the present moment and you're anxious and these thoughts have caused you anxiety, we can work with the fact of being anxious. We can work with what is present in the moment. Right now, I'm noticing that I'm anxious. Right now, I'm noticing that I'm anxious and it's in my chest. Or I'm anxious in the form of thinking. We can do that. I can't help you. Well, 6 months from now, this might happen at work, or this might happen with my relationship. And if that happens, then I might have to do this, or maybe I have to move out. And if that happens, then I have to do this, and I have to do that. And we start really adding and adding and adding and adding to it. What we want to do is learn how to press pause, break it down into 2 steps. Is this a thought, future or past, might, may, or could, or has happened? Or is it a fact, meaning it's happening now? So if it's a fact, and meaning it's happening now, so let's say you're worried in the present moment, or you're noticing fear in the present moment, we can work with that. What does work with that mean? It means that we can bring it in and say, right now I'm noticing that I'm anxious. But Mike, I don't want to be anxious. I don't like being anxious. Cool. No one really does. But being anxious or feeling nerves or feeling excited about something is normal as a human. If you're getting ready for something and you're nervous, that makes sense. Just like if you're also maybe experiencing some excitement, that makes sense. But very rarely does anyone, if ever, say to me, well, Mike, I know I shouldn't be this happy. Or I wake up every morning and I'm feeling happiness. Like, why am I so happy? I don't really get it. They don't say that to me ever. It's like, why am I so sad? Or why am I so anxious? Or like, what's wrong with me? The answer is probably nothing. You're a human and you experience emotions. Learn how to break this experience down into thought or fact. Start there. So when next time you're caught in something, the first tip of the day, ask yourself, is it a thought, meaning it might, may, or could, or has happened, or is it a fact? Is it happening now? What that can do, that's not going to all of a sudden get rid of your anxiety or worries or fears. That's not how that's going to work whatsoever. What it's going to do is going to help you label if it's actually happening or if it's something that might happen. Because what normally happens is we have that thought and then we have a thought on that thought and all that judgment and image, and your mind starts going and working overtime. And as you're working overtime, that anxiety grows and grows and grows and grows and grows and gets heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. And then all of a sudden you're caught in like thought upon thought. What I'd much rather have you do is go, yes, right now I'm experiencing this worry. The fact is I'm worried, or the fact is I have a little bit of fear, or the fact is that I'm a little anxious. That we can do. So start there. Label, thought, verse, fact. Start there. The next thing I want you to do is one of my fave practices that I've been using throughout COVID, and it's the short practice, a very simple practice of asking yourself, what is present? And the reason I created this practice, I was getting ready for doing a session at a hospital with some physicians, and I was getting in my head about what they might ask and what they may ask, and what if they don't like this training, or they look at me and go like, why is this, tattooed gorilla talking to us for 3 or 4 hours? So my mind was really working overtime. What I did right away, thankfully because of my practice, I pressed pause and I asked myself, all right, what is present? So what is present? And what was present was anxiety. Now, what I've been doing before, I was asking why. Why am I having this thought? What does this mean? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? What if they ask this? Or what if they do this? And why? Ask yourself, what is present? Start there. What is present? And that was anxiety for me. So anxiety was like flashing neon lights hitting my chest. Anxiety. Then ask yourself, all right, now we know the what. Where is it present? That was really easy for me. It was in my chest. I could feel the anxiety in my chest, but I also could feel it in my mind, right? In this form that I was experiencing with thoughts. Like we talked about before, thoughts versus fact. This was a thought. So what was present? Anxiety. Where was it present? Here and here. So I have the what. I know the where. Now, what is the purpose of this anxiety? So the anxiety for me, in that case, was to prepare me or protect me. That anxiety wanted to make sure that I was prepared for that workshop. That anxiety wanted to prepare me so I was ready to present. It also might be there to protect me, to make sure that if they ask questions, I'm up there just going, well, I don't know what the answer is. I don't Google it. I wanted to be prepared, but my brain was also probably trying to protect me from being hurt or embarrassed, as our brains do. See, quite often, again, we shame some of these emotions that we have. And we say, well, I shouldn't be anxious, or I shouldn't be worried. And we do all this comparison. No, whatever you're experiencing is okay. Ask yourself, what is present? Where is it the most present? And then what is the purpose behind it? And quite often people say, Mike, I don't know what the purpose is. Then you can just go, what's present? Where is it present? Well, I don't even know what's there. Well, then describe it to yourself. I always say, pretend you're like an alien. All right, pretend you're an alien and you are observing yourself and you don't know what thoughts or emotions are. How would you note them or describe them? Right? So you'd say, well, I'm experiencing this thing in my chest. It feels like it's tight or it's swaying or swirling or like there's butterflies in my stomach or my mind's really busy. Break it down and articulate your experience to yourself. What is present? Anxiety. Or what is present? I feel this kind of heavy energy in my body. Where is it present? In my chest, in my throat, in my mind, in my fists. What's the purpose behind it? Well, I don't really know. That's okay. Start back. What's present? Where is it present? Labels are your friends. Say it with me. Labels are your friends. Using labels helps. The more you can label something, the better it is for you and your well-being. The next thing I want to look at and cover, right? So we have already our 2 informal practices, how we incorporate mindfulness in our day-to-day. The first one, once again, let's explore it. Thought versus fact, right? The next one, what is present? Where is it present? And what is the purpose behind it? And then lastly, our last informal, I want to look at spotlighting. And spotlighting is just an easy way to bring awareness to something that you're enjoying throughout the day. Now, you can do it with a negative, but I feel like we do that enough. Let's look at spotlighting for the positive. So something that you're already doing during the day. So let's say you have a nice, well, this is a glass of water, okay? You can use your water to spotlight. You could use tea. You could use something like your drive to work or you're walking the dog or you're brushing your teeth. Something you're already doing in the day so we're not adding to your stress on I have to meditate today. We're looking at this as how can you incorporate a spotlight of awareness onto something you're already doing in the day. So let's say you wake up and you brush your teeth at some point, hopefully. You can bring your awareness to brushing your teeth. You can focus on what it feels like for your teeth to be brushed. You can bring awareness to when you're having a shower. You can bring awareness to that shower, to that experience of being in the shower. You can then bring that awareness to on your drive to work. You can be present for a minute or two at a time on actually driving to work. You can take your dog for a walk, or maybe you have a routine that you do every morning. For 30 seconds at a time, you can bring your awareness to that thing you're doing at a time. So when I say bring your awareness, I want you to imagine there's a spotlight and we're focusing on one thing. So let's say I'm focusing on brushing my teeth. My mind's gonna have a thought about work or about family stuff, or the kids' lunch is made, or da-da-da-da-da-da-da, or that parent-teacher interview tonight, or that one parent wants to talk to me today at work. That's a thought. We come back to the spotlight on brushing your teeth. And we're training our brain to focus on brushing the teeth. Then the mind goes off again. We notice it as a thought, and we come back to brushing the teeth again. And we brush the teeth again. And we do that again. Then the mind goes off. We notice that, and we come back to brushing the teeth. We do that for 2 minutes. After those 2 minutes, you've trained your brain to come back to one thing at a time. That's very important. That is no different than when we do meditation and we're doing breathing and your mind goes off and you come back to your breath. It isn't like you watch your breath for the whole 10 or 15 minutes. Your mind's gonna have thousands of thoughts. With those thousands of thoughts, you trained your mind to come back thousands of times. The more reps you do, the better your brain gets at handling stress in a healthier way. How is that so? Well, when you're talking to somebody that you actually enjoy their company and your mind's thinking about work, or your mind's going to your phone going off or whatever's going on, you can notice that as a thought and come back to that person you're talking with. Back to the person in the moment, in the here and now, instead of being caught in what might happen, may happen, or could happen. To me, this is the benefit of mindfulness. You can be more present with people more often that you want to be present with. And the people that hijacked your mind and you start worrying about what might happen, could happen, should happen, you can notice that and come back to what's happening in the present moment, right? Our mind typically will err on caution and try to warn you about things that may or could happen. I want you to notice that and come back to the present moment. What is actually happening here? What is actually happening in the present moment that allows you to respond to your stress in a healthier way, instead of being in the hamster wheel and thinking about all the things that may, or could happen. So using spotlighting is one thing that you can do to help deepen your awareness in the present moment and help you be more present with the people that you love. So you can actually be there, especially around the holiday times. I know it's a lot of stress for people. It's a mix of like crazy energy and busyness and, you know, maybe lots of money going out or worries and fears, but then also time with family. So we can spotlight those little moments with people that we love to be more present. You know, actually, I'll include this. I was doing the spotlight technique very recently with my son, Bo, who is 7 and will still like cuddle with me. And we were watching a show, and I thought, okay, I'm going to use Bo as like my spotlight, right? So we're watching a show, and I was like cuddling with his little smushy face, and it was like this on mine. Actually, my wife took a picture of it. I didn't know at the time because I was closing my eyes with Bo and using him as my spotlight for like 30 seconds to a minute at a time. So Jen took this picture, which I'll post here so you can see it. And after she showed me, I thought, oh, that's really kind of a cool moment that I was like spotlighting Bo as my practice, and Jen took a picture of it. So to me, that's the benefit of being present with people that you love, that you can actually be there with them instead of your mind and all the things that may, or could happen. Okay, so those are our 3 informal practices: thought versus fact. We have what is present, where is it present, what's the purpose, and then we have this idea of spotlighting, right? So purposely bringing awareness to something you're already doing. And I would prefer something that's either you do already kind of on autopilot, like most people showering or brushing their teeth, or you can bring it to something that brings you joy, like spending time with a loved one, or maybe it's your morning coffee or tea, whatever it is, okay? But try one of those 3 out that connect with you, and then let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about them, of course. And then I want to speak just very briefly to 2 short practices. The first one is this idea of 4 in, 4 out. And I love the idea of 4 in, 4 out because we can do it at any place. I did it literally at Walmart the other day with a mask on because someone was frustrating me in the line. And I was like, for 4, out for 4. That is my go-to. Ideally, if you can breathe in through your nose, that would be the best practice. If you can't, that's okay. But ideal, in nose, out mouth. Getting into a regular routine of training your brain to do 1, 2, or 3 minutes a day of just purposely paying attention to your breath, right? Doing 4 in, 4 out, the mind goes off, you come back. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. Do that cycle 3 to 10 times before you get up in the morning, just before you get up. You don't need any fancy headphones or music to meditate to. You can just do 4 in and 4 out. That's going to train your brain to come back to the present moment, right? When your mind goes off, you come back to your breath. For that 4 and out, your mind thinks about work. We say, no, that's later time. Come back to breathing in for that 4, out for that 4. The more you train your mind to be present, the more reps you do, the next time you're at work and you're dealing with a difficult human, small or large, you can then implement your 4 in, 4 out with the idea of responding to their stress in a healthier way, or responding to your stress in a healthier way, helping you be more present when people are incurring stress or frustration, right? This is a systematic training for your brain. Remind yourself, we're training your mind to be more present. Your mind goes off, we come back. Your mind goes off, we come back. Your mind goes off, we come back. It doesn't mean you don't have thoughts. That's literally impossible. We're not saying you don't have thoughts. Mindfulness is training your mind to be more present more often, so we can respond to our stress. 4 in, 4 out is one way of doing that. We breathe in for that 1, 2, 3, 4. We breathe out for that 1, 2, 3, 4. Do that for as short as, let's say, 3 cycles, and as long as for as many as you can do. That's totally fine. But if you made a regular routine of this, of a formal practice, it's going to start to train your brain to be more present more often. That's what we're looking for. At least that's what I'm looking for when I'm working with people one-on-one or in small groups. So lastly, I want you to look at the short practice of gratitude, where we're just going to kind of piggyback off the technique of breathing in for 4, out for 4. So we're going to breathe in for 4, and as you breathe in for 4, what we're going to do is as you breathe in for 4, you're going to think about someone that you're grateful for, someone that connects with you in your life. And then on our out breath for 4, we're going to focus on our breath leaving. So the in breath, we're thinking of someone that we're grateful for, or someone that we love, or something that we're grateful for. That breathes in. On our out breath, we are focusing on that breath leaving out. Why are we doing this? Well, our brain, again, likes to hold on to that negative. Nothing wrong with that. I just find that if I spotlight or if I purposely start my day with gratitude, I find that my brain throughout the rest of the day looks for other things I'm grateful for. So when I see something that happens, or something small that happens, or a kind gesture even from a stranger, I'll think, oh, I'll use that tomorrow in my gratitude practice. My brain starts looking for that. Let's end this chat. I'm sure you're already sick of me. I've talked long enough. Let's end our chat with a short little gratitude practice. So it kind of gives us a formal ending. So just allow your eyes to close if you're comfortable with that. And all I want you to do is think about someone or something that you're grateful or thankful of. And now just breathe in through your nose, thinking of them for that 1, 2, 3, 4. Now breathing out the mouth for that 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Breathing in, think about someone that you're grateful or thankful for that 2, 3, 4. Now out your mouth for that 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Good. Breathing in, think about you're grateful or thankful of for that 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. And again, breathing in, thinking about someone that you're grateful or thankful of for that 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Eyes open. Something as short as that would work. Now maybe you're like, Mike, you counted too fast. I want to do it longer, or I want to do it shorter. Cool. Do your own practice. I'll send the attached links to my website, mindfulmike.ca. So if you want to do some of these guided practices, they're on there. They're for free. Go nuts at it. Right? You can always message me at mindfulmike.ca or at mindfulmassey, M-A-S-S-E, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. But find one that works for you, informal and formal. Start with that. Build out slowly, but short and simple practices have a significant impact if you do them. If you don't do them, nothing's going to change. But don't be a stranger. Thank you for all the work that you do. If you ever have any questions, do not hesitate to message me. I'm not going to send you an invoice for like a bill because I answered 3 or 4 of your questions, okay? Keep those questions coming in. Thanks for all that you do. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.